everybody, this is Tim W. Leathertachi 1996, and for this week's episode of Godzilla Effects, I'm going to be doing something a lot different. I actually have a special guest, and as you can see, you could tell what movie this is representing here. And my special guest here, I got my boy Alan. You've seen him on a lot of the videos. This guy's got moves, you know it. And for today's Godzilla Effects, both he and I will be doing my number one on my top 7 Godzilla movies, Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. Alright, so since he's into this one also. So yeah, see you all in a couple hours. Okay, well, after literally 2 hours of getting through that, here comes our review of King of the Monsters here. Just gotta wait until I get the screen, until I start getting the poster up. So yeah, in all honesty, I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, here's the awesome poster, or one of the many posters for this movie. So in all honesty, Alan, what'd you think of the movie? To start out with for King of the Monsters.
I liked it. It was, I don't know. When they say King of the Monsters, you already know who it is, really.
Yeah. Remember, there's that one TV spot where they played the song "I'm Gonna Knock You Out," and they start the thing with "You know who it is."
Mm-hmm.
So what score would you give this movie? Because I give this a straight up 10.
Oh yeah, straight up 10.
Straight up 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And here, this is like at the very start of the movie. Like here we have Mothra, or the new legendary MonsterVerse version of Mothra. Now, what do you ever think of the design? Like they really make her look like just a regular giant bug, giant insect, really. But the CG for her was really good.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like the smooth larva look that they have. One thing that was cool though was the fact that she glows.
Yeah.
That light that she kept doing.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing about the MonsterVerse was that. Remember I said this when when you watched 2014 with me. I said like with the MonsterVerse, it's like they take monsters and they make them look like this is what nature wants them to be.
Yeah.
Make them look natural.
Pretty much.
So the fact, and I do love like the creator, the conceptual designers really made Mothra like a regular insect. And here we go, the 3-headed golden demise, or he tries to be, King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Now, this comes to the one effects con with this movie, is in this shot here, it's like Ghidorah has that lightning in the background, so it's like, it does look like a cool silhouette shot, in all honesty.
Yeah. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, what was the effects con that you pointed out with Ghidorah? You said it's like, when it comes to the CG for him?
It's like far away distance, like he looks like almost like a game a little bit, just a tiny bit.
Like smooth,
like
video game
yeah,
CG?
like a smooth video game, but when you like up close and personal, it's like he's more like that detail. It really shows.
He has a lot of detail on it.
Like every crisp and like every little detail, where it's like a hard chip or like that.
Yeah.
So it really shows. It really shows.
But far away, it's like, see, this shot here actually shows, it's like I don't know, it's like, this is like semi-close. Like, in his face, you see all the detailing in his face and his horns. But then when you look at his necks and the tail,
yeah,
they look smooth.
Yes.
That's just like, that's what Alan meant by like far away shots, he's smooth. And what is awesome is that Ghidorah and Godzilla were done with like the motion capture, and it's cool that like 3 people play each head. So, and you can clearly, so you saw like how each head has personality, but the one all the way to the right, Kevin, which I will never get over the fact that that's his real name, like that they named him Kevin.
Likewise.
I mean, you can look at this. Just one picture. I'm sorry to get off topic, everybody, but when you look at this picture, doesn't it Kevin look like he's looking up, going like, "We really doing this?"
Mm-hmm.
Are we really doing this? Seriously? Oh, well, here's a shot of the big guy. That is actually some good CG, though.
With Godzilla, is like they actually got him right for some reason.
They did.
Like, I don't know, when I saw 2014 versus this, they actually kind of updated him a little bit.
Yeah, they did. Especially, like, with his design.
Yeah.
Because, like, you saw in 2014, his backplates were tiny? Not tiny, but they were a little smaller.
They weren't like how crazy this one is. You know? It wasn't like all crazy, but it's like it was there. You saw it, but it's like in here it was more like alive more, I feel.
Like it was normal, like that's Godzilla?
Yeah, it was like that's him. Like how like a shark is, when they pop the fins out, you know it's him.
It's a shark.
Yeah, but it's like with Godzilla, it's like when you pop like either one back plate out, that's him.
Yeah, and here we got Rodan.
Starscream.
Yeah, Alan's right. Like, and one thing though you got it is he has a lot of detail too, especially in this shot where the soldier Barnes, played by O'Shea Jr. You gotta admit he has a lot of detail too. Like he has just as much detail as Godzilla does. And the one thing that I really do like about Rodan's design in this movie is they stick with his 1956 origin, because that's when he got his very first movie, and the two horns he has on the back of his head, that is because in 1956 he only had two horns. He only had two horns, and the fact that he comes out of a volcano in that movie also, hence why in this he comes out of a volcano.
It makes sense, and plus, like when he's flying, you see like the smoke coming out and like that from like behind him, because it's like how she said it was fire human.
Yeah.
Like that, so.
And oh man, this shot here, literally, this whole movie takes everything fans really like about Godzilla from the music, because they play his theme song like a little total of Godzilla's theme like 3 times in this movie. Then you got Mothra's theme song, which they do it twice. But Ghidorah here, it's like, you think, everyone knows who Ghidorah is. Giant 3-headed dragon trying to whoop Godzilla's ass. And then, but the weird thing is, though, is that the head growing back thing, he's never done that until this movie. When it's like Godzilla rips Kevin off. I'm sorry. The fact that it's him, the name, I can't get that out of my head. It's just too funny.
But Godzilla probably hated him the most, probably.
Oh yeah, but it was just so crazy, like with his head growing back.
Yeah.
Like it is kind of gross, like because there's like weird plasmic stuff that comes out, and then when he grows the head back and everything. Yeah. And here we have the shot of Washington D.C. Looks like the apocalypse. Looks like
almost looks like half of Atlantis is like, you know how Atlantis like goes underground, like goes in the water kind of covers it
when it's sunk.
Yeah, it's like. Washington D.C. is like they really made almost that kind of appearance a little bit.
They did, yeah, and it's just so crazy that it's like Ghidorah is the one that caused that.
Yeah,
and it's like he's there with the clouds in the back.
Yeah,
and Alan's right when it comes to Rodan. He is basically the equivalent of Starscream from the live-action Transformers films, because. I mean, Rodan, when he first shows up, you think he's all badass, right?
Yes.
He comes on, takes down the entire squadron of planes, just kills everybody.
Pretty
even
much.
Eats a guy.
And plus, like, he does, like, a whole rollover. Corkscrew, and literally takes out almost every single
jet
that's in the mix of all that.
And then freaking Ghidorah comes up and just, like, literally in a literal 30-second fight, just beats him.
Yes.
And then after that, it's like he just followed. Like they show shots of Rodan just following Ghidorah everywhere. So it's like Ghidorah is like Megatron, and Rodan's like Starscream.
Yes.
And here is the saddest scene in this whole thing.
Mr. Sarazawa.
Yep, he did go down like a boss though.
It's I'm glad he got a chance to see, Godzilla like actually up close and personal.
Oh, despite the radiation really basically killing him.
I'm sorry. If I was him, I would have done the same thing, to be honest.
Yeah, one design choice, though, that I really do like with Godzilla is that like, earlier when we were talking about his backplates,
yes.
His backplates actually are. You remember you saw? Well, here's another good shot of him. Like his back plates. I remember on the movie reviews library, we watched like the very first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that back plates, if you recognize them, those are the 1954 plates.
Yeah.
On his back, and Godzilla's feet are not the elephant feet of 2014. They actually have like bigger claws on his feet, and that's from 2001. That's from the 2001 design. But one good benefit is that his eyes aren't tiny.
Yeah.
Because remember in 2014, his eyes were like.
There was equivalent to almost being kind of an ant.
Yeah.
Like far away, ant.
Yeah.
Up close, it's like, well, I have eyes now.
Yeah.
So but I'm glad they actually really kind of stuck to the design. Because like some movies, they kind of change designs, like how Sonic, they had to change the designs on Sonic.
Yeah, they did.
But it's like with Godzilla, and it's like, you know what, fans love this, so it's like we're going to keep it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm actually pretty glad about how Godzilla turned out in this, and for like the whole movie, it's like I give it a 10 out of 10 still, but it's like the way how they capture, the people and the monsters together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
how like they interact with all of them. It's like it actually became more as like a mission where it's like kind of like a big question mark. Just like which one do we kill and which one can we leave alive?
Especially like in Kong Skull Island, where you had Mason, the two characters of Mason Weaver and James Conrad, where Weaver actually touches Kong's nose.
Yeah. At
that, and then that like throughout the movie, everyone realizes that Kong is not the bad guy.
Yeah.
In this movie. Enemy. And then in this movie too, actually, there's a bit where after the screenshot before this, Godzilla looks at the people. Yeah. Like he got right up on their face and he was smelling them.
But the fun part is, it's like out of that tension, out of that right there, it's like you kind of have Godzilla has a feeling like who hates him the absolute most.
Oh yeah.
So
this scene.
I'm gonna touch base on this scene. This scene is actually one of my favorites a little bit.
Oh, the double team?
Because it's like who's the double team part?
It's when Mothra comes in and shoots her webbing at Ghidorah, pins him to the building.
Okay, yeah.
And then Godzilla just jumps in.
Yeah. This right here is like Godzilla has backup, whereas like he's kind of a lone wolf in a way.
Yeah.
When he's fighting, but this time they actually gave him more firepower than most. But the new part is kind of weird. It's like, okay, that was a little bit too much OP.
Oh, but when he gets like all that radiation in his body from Serizawa saving him. Oh, and here's a good shot of Mothra. Now the crazy thing, like I really love above all Mothra designs, like okay, the 2001 design where she looked a little more like a bug instead of a big fluffy butterfly prop. I don't know, it just looks weird. But in this one, they really made her look like she's a bug. Mm-hmm. Like seriously, they really, and her wings though are the main highlight. In all honesty, because like they change color you ever notice like her wings were changing color?
Yeah.
So it's like but she can kick ass. I mean, she literally whoops Rodan.
She's the type of bug that you just don't want to mess with, really.
Yeah, like literally, there's shoving Rodan into a building, and then there's like a hornet. It's like how bees and hornets, they got that stinger on their hind end. She stabs him right in the shoulder.
I really thought he was dead, and I really got happy for 2 seconds.
And then here is the last shot in this entire movie. Like, this really, like, as the title says, let me look at this, you got it's just so funny, like, there's another Muto in this movie from 2014. There's another Muto in this movie. It's like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
Like, excuse me? Where did you come from? But then you got all the other monsters, like you got Behemoth, who's off to the right. Yeah, Behemoth's off to the right, and every monster in this movie, other than the main four, that's him, yeah. Off to the left. And every other monster in this movie, you gotta admit, like, they all look original. Like, every monster in the Monsterverse always, like, monsters people we haven't seen in this kind of movie. In all honesty. But it's just like a really crazy shot of like Godzilla standing on the hill
Mm-hmm.
above everybody.
But the funny part is,
Let me just get back to the poster here, folks. Okay.
But the funny part is that with that, it's like you kind of after the whole movie, it's like you'll see him, right? You'll see him from 1 minute, like all monsters coming out. But the part is, you kind of forget about him until they show up at the end. It's like, okay, all right, we kind of forgot about you guys a little bit.
That's what it was, because they do like the whole thing with Ghidorah doing the like that call on top of the volcano, and they show like every other monster starts showing up. Then throughout the movie they show like news things, little bits and pieces of them. But then yeah, you're right, it's like they kind of forgot about Behemoth, Scylla, which is the thing with the legs, and then you got remember the one from Germany, the mountain, the walking mountain, that one's name is Methuselah. I know like the monsters have really odd names. Like, they got really, really weird names.
Weird names, but last time that one sounded like a girl, though.
Methuselah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like King Methuselah.
Yeah, the other one's Scylla, actually, the Ammonite, the sea creature with legs. That one's actually named after a Greek goddess, a female Greek goddess, who was basically Ghidorah, if Ghidorah didn't have wings, but had arms instead of wings, and had more than 3 heads. Yeah, that's Scylla. And they named the big spider-looking thing off of that. So yeah, Godzilla King of the Monsters, like you said, you said give this a 10 out of 10 also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I give this also a 10 out of 10. So it's like, okay, what honestly would you recommend this to, other than die-hard Godzilla fans? Like, who would you recommend this movie to?
I have no clue. Wait, what do you mean?
What would be like your personal, like, what recommendations, like if you were to recommend this movie to other people, like who would you recommend it to? It's like, yeah, Godzilla fans obviously, but with the amount of people that they have in here, it's like, who else would you recommend it to? Like action fans or science fiction fans? Like, what other movie genre fans would you recommend this to?
Mainly action fans, if they're looking for something that's out of the box, something
very out of the box.
Out of the box, but it's like if you're not like into it, because I'm not a diehard Godzilla fan, but I've heard about him before. But at the time, you'll have to be a fan of something to like it and like that.
Yeah.
So, take for instance me, I like actions. I'm a diehard action person, but with this, it kind of captures the essence of like a movie going. How can I say it? Like kind of going from like monsters, and then at the time looking at the people, like how they have to deal with it, and everything, what they got to do to save their own people and everything like that, but still keep pick on who's like, okay, who do we choose, who do we choose, who do we
who do we root for?
Yeah, like who do we root for? But then again, you kind of figure out and everything. But when you look at it, Godzilla is kind of his own person.
He is. And one thing I gotta give it to is the guy who played him in the motion capture, T.J. Storm. I really gotta hand it to the guy. Like, he did a really good performance playing as him. Like, the 3 guys, I don't remember the names on who did Ghidorah's heads, but they did a good job, in all honesty, of giving, like, something with one body, but it's got 3 heads, so it's like...
Yeah.
And that's actually something new that they did with Ghidorah, because in the original 28 films, Ghidorah had literally, it was 3 heads, but they were all like one brain. They acted like one head.
Yeah.
Like 3 heads, 1 mind, like what's it? Hive mind.
Yeah.
So they all 3 of them thought the same, but in this one it's like they had him, each different head had its own thing.
Yeah, I actually like that, how they, even though they're one body, but at the time it's like they act differently. Whereas like Kevin, he was like more like the goof off person.
He was, yeah. Then you got the middle head.
The middle one was like, you're obviously the leader. Yeah. And then the second one was like more like, okay, what you need me to do. Yeah. So it's like the middle one was the leader, and every time I look at the one off to the left, it's like he's like your right hand guy. Yeah. I should say, because he's not like Kevin. Kevin's the one that's like, yeah, the kind of
he always goofed around the whole movie.
Pretty much like you have to really like get him to like, okay, Kevin, think.
Especially like when the middle head grabbed one of his horns and tried to like pull him a little bit.
It's like think, you know. So, but but I recommend this movie to like people that is like that would have an open minded about movies
Yeah.
and everything, or if they've never seen Godzilla and everything. But I would recommend this. You know, it's a lot, but fair warning, it's kind of a lot of screaming. And
Oh
everything.
yeah, in the theater when Alan and I went and saw this, me and our other buddy Jonathan, he and I were okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the minute Godzilla screamed at Ghidorah, Alan like jumped in his seat and was covered his ears like for most of the fight because it was loud.
Ears, not jumped, but I'd say like I mostly like I was like okay. I was like, all right.
No, it was
this
really
is
loud in the theater.
But other than that, the screen is like it's the best part about it though. At the same time, when you look at it, because it's like you can capture the essence of like the whole scream, you know?
Yeah,
like
especially with
pieces of it.
Especially with Godzilla because yeah, they have his roar from 2014, which is like the loud hiss and the growl. But then in this one, they actually have like what his real roar is.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the original Japanese roar in here.
Mm-hmm.
So like the sound effects, the sound effects really add to how the special effects work
Mm-hmm.
because it helps like what blends everything together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when it like amazing. Oh yeah, before I even talk about TJ Storm again, one little funny thing about this is anybody who has seen who stayed past the credits, anybody who has watched the credits, literally in the end credits, it literally lists like Godzilla. It says Godzilla wrote. It has all the 4 monsters, and they all say like herself, himself,
Mm-hmm.
in all the credits. So it's like they were listed in the cast.
They're like they're like they're not like characters. They're like more like actors.
That's how they really treated him in this movie. Like look at movies like what do you call like the Planet of the Apes movies.
Mm-hmm.
The new Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the CG is that good where they treat them more like actors.
Yes.
They treat all the characters more like actors on set, really. But yeah, so for about the time we wrap this review up here, so Godzilla King of Monsters, awesome movie,
Mm-hmm.
really good effects,
Mm-hmm.
like truly. The effects in this movie are good, are really great. Great CGI,
Mm-hmm.
except with Ghidorah. Except the smoothness and the faraway shots, it's just really weird.
But it's still, I can still give it that, it
The
still was good.
benefit
at
of
the
the
same
doubt.
time. It was just really amazing how they actually got all that together, and the close-upness and the faraway distance and everything. They really had to make it to where it's like they had to blend it in.
That's true. They did do a good job of that in this movie. So yeah, that is Alan and I's thoughts on Godzilla King of Monsters, and when we will see you. Well, actually, before I say that, please subscribe to not only this channel here, but the movie reviews library, because Alan is with my buddy Magus Dragon on that channel, and also please, hit me up a like and give the rest of this series of Godzilla Effects a watch here. So yeah, we will see you next time when hopefully we can tackle Godzilla vs. Kong when it comes out this year in November. We're literally 299 days away from the release of that movie at this point.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Team Godzilla, everybody.
Team Kong.
Civil War.